So for today's guest, we got Gerardo Gutierrez. Man, this guy came in and he started off crushing it, just absolutely crushing it, and had some downs, some highs, some lows. Figured out how to overcome some adversity and whatnot. You've been figured out how to become consistent, and just correct me if I'm wrong. It was a mindset change that you had that really kind of kicked things off for you. So it's a pleasure for you to be on this call. I love seeing you here, and love seeing the growth that I've been able to witness. It's been a real inspiration for me, and I know as well as a lot of other people that have been watching you. So now you've been here for about 3 months, right? 3 months now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And like I said, you've gone through some highs, some lows, and you've really figured out how to overcome that, and how to overcome the lows, focus on those highs, and really stay consistent and maintain some pretty impressive numbers.
It's all about that.
Yeah, it's all about that, man. So I just want to go into your background a little bit. I know you were started out, you were working 3 jobs before you came over here. You're really hustling, putting a lot of time in, and you really just weren't getting you weren't getting the return on your time, which is obviously really important. And then your girlfriend Amanda, who was #1 this week with submission with 30 grand, you saw her come over here. She started crushing it, and then you figured, I mean, if she's doing it, you're watching her do it, man. Like, no reason you can't. Then you decided to take the jump and come over here. So kind of walk us through that and your mindset right off the bat, when you were working the jobs, what you didn't like about it, and what got you over here, and what kept you staying.
Well, I mean, pretty much long story short, I was, of course, definitely working 2-3 jobs. I was trying to make some real money, like the money that I'm making now here. Plain and simple, getting, I guess, comfortable. Anybody who's working a 9 to 5 or whatever hours they work, they're going to get comfortable, from one month to another. And that's what I really started noticing that for myself, clocking in, clocking out. It's pretty much it. Now, when I saw Amanda doing this, it was kind of like, okay, this is exactly what I want to do. I don't know if insurance is the thing for me. Came in making money. Let me do the same thing. So here I am now. However, when I did start, I was averaging about 4,000 or 5,000 a week, which starting off, seeing those numbers, I guess you can say as a rookie, was very eye-opening for me. And I stuck to that and I got comfortable. So then I started building a little bit of, I guess you can say, frustration, because I wanted to make bigger numbers, more sales. And yeah, I was just caught up in that, and I decided to make a change, which, of course, I like to shout out my girlfriend for helping me out. Amanda, thank you. I switched my mentality and I said, you know what, from this day on, I'm just going to work. I'm going to do what, our business is structured to do, put it into play, and just execute it. And that's what I did. And literally the very first week I stepped in, booked 11 appointments, right off the bat. That was probably before the evening. So yeah. And then, pretty much just closed all of them. So plain and simple.
Yeah, man. So let's back it up a little bit. So when you first came over here, you saw what Amanda was doing, and then you wanted to commit yourself to replicating at least what she was doing. And I know, because I happened to be here when you first came over, and you were dedicated. You were talking about, all these crazy big numbers and this and that. And that was about 3 months ago. And it took you a little bit to get started, right? So I'd say out of the 3 months you've been here, you've really started to hammer down and kind of figure this thing out maybe 2 months ago. So maybe it took like a month to kind of get
the first month was kind of like, it's a whole different industry for me. And especially working for yourself, and it's your own business. So, you got to take different precautions.
Yeah. So walk us through that. So I think that's where a lot of people struggle coming over here, myself included. We're very used to working, your typical 9 to 5, right? Or just being told what to do, having to do it, working for a paycheck. It doesn't matter to a point. It really doesn't matter what you do, how much effort you put forth, as long as you get the bare minimum done, you're going to get the same paycheck. And
that's the problem. Bare minimum.
The bare minimum.
That's what I got, caught doing, just the bare minimum, just the bare minimum numbers, bare minimum appointments. And
that's what we're used to.
Exactly.
That's what we're used to coming over here. And so it's an entirely different ball game when you kind of cut cords with your typical 9 to 5 W-2 position, getting away with the bare minimum, having that steady paycheck that you can rely on, with really no incentive to go above and beyond, unless you're looking for promotion, which even then it's still, you get promoted and you can do the bare minimum and so skate by. And then when you cut that cord and you come over here where you have something like this, where you're a 1099 employee, you're a business owner, everything falls on your shoulders. There's no more such thing as bare minimum with an equal reward. If you do the bare minimum, you could potentially get nothing, right? So you have to
Exactly.
put a lot of time and effort into building this thing and kind of overcoming that mindset of an employee and adapt the mindset of employer, whether you're growing an agency or just employing yourself, really, and figuring out how to maneuver that and coming up with your own schedule. Because when you come over here and you're coming from somewhere where you have to be at work at 8 a.m. Like you have to, because
Exactly.
otherwise you're going to lose your job. And then you cut ties with that and you come over here and you're self-employed now and you want to come in at 8 a.m. But if you don't, there's going to be no repercussions as far as you're not going to get written up. You're not going to lose your job. So you have to commit yourself to actually having a structured schedule. It's really not going to work. And so walk us through that with where your mindset was coming over here and how you kind of learned, I guess, the hard way that your schedule is important, probably more important now than it was as an employee per se, right?
Right, for sure. So I guess you can say I guess you can say the whatever syndrome. If I don't come in exactly on 8 a.m. Whatever, I'll come in a little bit later. However, that plays a lot into your own business. You have to, I guess, take the same mentality as if you were working a regular 9 to 5. Stick to the hours, okay? So if you're gonna dial from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Plain and simple, and that's what pretty much separates you from everyone else, because you can have so many excuses on why you can leave home, do this, have to go do that. It's your own business. You can do whatever you want.
Yep.
However, that's not, your results are not gonna be 100%, if you have that type of mentality.
Yeah. You have a lackluster schedule, you're gonna have lackluster results.
Exactly.
Fair enough. So now when you first started coming within the last 2 months, so it took you about a month or so to really kind of get things a little bit figured out and figure out who you are and how to, what the schedule should look like and whatnot. And then you were here, Monday, 8 a.m., you're in that chair, you're dialing, your posture's great, your attitude's great, everything is golden. You started making a little bit of money, like $3,000-$4,000 a week, money you haven't made before. And then you started getting comfortable, which man, comfort is your worst enemy, right? When you get comfortable, you get
the silent killer, like
complacency kills. Yeah. And so you experienced that, you went through it. So you're making a little bit of money. You're on time every Monday, every Thursday in that chair, dialing with a great attitude, buying leads and whatnot, calling the leads and setting the appointments, getting really good on the phone, going to those homes and you're closing them. And then it was really interesting from like my perspective is watching it, is you're having these great results. And then Monday came and maybe you're not coming till 8:30 or 9, and maybe you're not staying as late as you normally did. And Thursday, sometimes maybe I'll just dial from home or maybe I'll take that day off.
Like
backtracking. Yeah. And then that became pretty catastrophic for you, right? So I guess walk us through what brought you down that road, how you became comfortable and why you thought it was okay to kind of get away with that schedule.
Because in this business, you're making money regardless. You put in work, you're going to make money, and it's high numbers. So I really think was my issue. I started seeing, a couple thousand coming in. So I was like, okay, I don't really have to work as hard. So, that brought me back to backtracking. Then, okay, well, it's 3:30, I'm gonna go home and dial. And, you get home, it's just time wasting, the drive and whatnot. So, all I can say is, I got comfortable and I decided to just switch because I wanted to make more money. It's plain and simple, and this business has, like I said, it's structured. Everything's already into play. Just do it. Yeah. At the end of the day, if you do it, you're going to get, pretty good results, So,
yeah.
That's.
So you had a mindset shift.
Because I was tired of making the same amount. I see everyone putting up big numbers and, I want to see my name on the, on the board. So now I'm starting to climb up a little bit just because my attitude's different. Said, I always have a good posture. I try to, because that's energy you're carrying on, you know what I mean? So, just change my mentality. I look forward in dialing. I really do. I get no's, I get hanged up on. It's part of it.
Part of it. Yeah. So it's part of it. Dialing it's a part of this position that nobody truly likes. I don't like it. There's no one that I know that loves dialing, but dial days are paydays essentially, right? Because you dial, you set the appointments, and you have to have the appointment set in order to go to them. And then that's where you make all your money. So if you eliminate dial day, then you eliminate your entire paycheck and
Right.
everything is gone. So I think a good way to look at dial day is dial day is payday.
Exactly.
You literally can project your income based on your production on dial day. Right. And I mean, I think that's kind of cool. And it's a great way to look at it. And that's something that I had to shift in my head as well.
Right.
Was looking at dial day in a different light. Instead of it being a nuisance, man, like this is my opportunity to make a ton of money this week.
And I want to say one thing. Once you start seeing your numbers go up, I promise you're going to love dialing. And that's what hit me. Like, I promise you, I may not have, 30 appointments, in the next day or so, but now that I see what the possibilities are of making that type of money, just by putting in the work, you're going to love dial days. I promise you that.
Yeah.
And then even write out days, the next days that you write out, even better.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to dial.
Because you don't
yeah, you still have to dial, just if you want to get more appointments, however, but.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to get more appointments.
Mm-hmm.
So now, what did you notice? Because I know for me, when I started booking more appointments, if I were to get no showed, or if I were to get, a no sale for whatever reason, it didn't sting as much because you have a stacked schedule, right?
Exactly.
So you stop setting, 1, 2, 3 appointments per day, and then you started to stack your schedule. So how many appointments would you say that you run on an average? Do you have how many appointments would you say that you have booked for any given field day? Now,
so I would say I try to push 6 to 8, of course, per day. That's what I've been averaging about. And also I try to incorporate door knocks, because like I mentioned to you earlier, the very first door knock that I had, I sold.
Yeah.
So that's literally a sign.
For how much?
It was 2,500 AP.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you made $2,500 off a door knock.
Exactly. And
Okay.
I just stepped in. I was like, hey, I've been trying to get this information out to you for the past 2 months. They were confused. Yeah, come on in. Shoes on or off. Sold.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that was the first time you door knocked. And
very first time.
And when was that? How long ago?
This was a week and a half.
Week and a half ago, right?
Yeah,
So like
exactly.
you just started implementing this.
Exactly.
It's just something. I mean, you hear everybody talk about it. You dial, door knock.
Exactly.
And it's so easy to not door knock, right?
Exactly.
And if I can't get a hold of them on the phone, the chances of me getting them when they're home, it's not going to happen. But that's just not true. Door knocks are they work. They're essential. I mean, show me any top producer that's not door knocking. I don't think they don't exist. To the best of my knowledge, they just don't exist. Door knocks work. You're in person. And if you have to spend for whatever reason, you have a big gap in your schedule, and you have to spend 4 hours door knocking, but then that 4 hours turns into $2,500 in your bank account. Like that's a pretty good return of ROI on your time.
Definitely.
Right.
If I'm in the area, well, let's say I'm in, I don't know, Dallas, there's little cities around there, and I'm looking at doing mortgage or whatever. I was trying to see, which one's 20-30 minutes away from my appointments, and I just go door knock them.
Yeah, because you're already in the area, right?
Exactly.
So why not? And so it's another tool in your tool belt.
Exactly.
To door knock, and
Worst
you started
scenario, I'll make money.
Right, you make money, and if you don't get any bites from the door knock, well, then you walk away with zero. But you would have walked away with zero had you not door knocked anyway. So at least there's a potential there.
For sure.
And people are actually, I mean, they're making it work, man. They're making door knocks.
It works. I mean,
they're fruitful.
It really does work. It's just you got to put in the time and the effort.
You got to put in the time and the effort. So now, when you were down, because you were kind of down for a little bit over the last few weeks, right?
Yeah, almost a month.
3-4 weeks. What were you? How did you I know that you had a shift in your mindset, but how did you arrive at that? How did you actually overcome that? And where were you? Like, paint that picture, man. So, because you have a good story. So you were down. How down were you? And
I was frustrated, and I wanted to get over that hump. It was always 4 to 5. I was getting annoying because seeing all the numbers, and like I said, I want to be in the top. Top producers want to do what everyone else is doing. And I told myself, I just have to get over that hump. Once I get over that hump, it's a game changer. That's really what made me change. But getting comfortable is what I knew I did. I got comfortable, and I mean, there's nothing much to it. You get comfortable, and once you realize you got comfortable, all you have to do is make the switch. Change your attitude about everything. About if you get no showed, if they cancel on you. Nobody's there, things like that. So you just got to keep going. You don't have time to think about, man, like pretty much you don't have time to dwell on things like that.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing that you just mentioned there that I really love and I want to highlight
Mhm.
is just that when you realize that you that
Yes,
yeah,
personally,
you
when I started, in other words, slacking,
yep.
you know, going home early, not really doing the bare minimum, as you said earlier,
Yeah.
I realized that, and that it was hard for me to realize it because it's kind of like bringing myself down.
Mhm.
But either you can bring yourself down or pick it back up. You
Right.
know, pick yourself back up.
Very easy to blame other
Uh,
people, other
exactly.
situations, other, this advice is not good.
Exactly. Or
You know,
people blame the leads, like, oh, the leads this, the leads that, you know.
yeah,
So
that's common. So on that subject of leads,
mhm,
we kind of walked through how your mindset was good, then it kind of shifted. You got comfortable,
mhm,
complacent. Things started not going your way anymore, and then you came to a crossroads where it was either, all right, I can just give this thing up, and
do or
I
die.
can quit and go back to work, or
Mhm,
I can change my mindset, and then I can figure it out, and I can do it. And that's obviously the route that you chose. That's why you're on
exactly.
the call today,
For sure.
and that's why you. I mean, and your numbers reflect that. They
Mhm,
reflect that. So other you had that mindset
mhm.
shift, and now what did that look like as far as actionable steps that somebody can take that might be in a low place? Is it, you keep reworking the same leads you had before? Is it buying new leads? Is it being more committed to a
Right.
schedule? Like walk us through actual actionable steps that somebody can take that's low. They can have that
Right.
mindset change, and then they can turn it around. How do they turn it around?
Right. It's simple. You can never have too many leads. I know everyone always talks about it, and if you have if you have too many leads, that's a good problem. It gives you more opportunities to make more appointments, of course, but it's the action of doing it. You know, once you run out of leads, then you're done there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, that's one of the things. That's the main thing that pretty much changed. If I invested, if this is my own business, of course I'm gonna invest more in it. I went from spending 1,000 on leads to 15, pushing it more, and being more diverse. Just not the CRM. Also do mortgage. I love equity protection.
Equity protection. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
big
It's a
bucks.
good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I love the equity stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you said you were spending about 1,000 on leads. You bumped it
Hmm.
up to 1,500,
Hmm.
and then that has proved to be very fruitful for you,
Hmm.
right? The way that I like to explain leads
Hmm.
is, let's just say you drop $1,000 on leads, and now you have a stack of leads in front of you.
Exactly.
And for the sake of easy numbers, you have 100 leads. You book 25 appointments on them, and that gets you through a week.
Hmm.
Well, that means on, coming into your second week, you have 70, 80 leads from, after you get rid of the ones that you talked to, you just
Hmm.
couldn't overcome. And it's very easy to say, well, I already have all these leads here, so I'm just going to use these instead of buying leads. I'm going to, trick the system essentially. And the way that I explain it is, think of leads as uh, uh, it, some kind of product on the shelf in a grocery store, convenience store. If you own a brick and mortar shop and you're selling products, well, products expire, right? If you're selling
Sure.
sandwiches, you're selling donuts, you're selling anything, it has an expiration date. And once that expires, you have to get rid of that, and you have to replace. You have to buy new product to replace that,
Exactly.
take up that spot on the shelf. And that's the only way that you can sell it. You can't sell expired products. Leads are the same way. They go stale, right?
Hmm.
So you have to buy new leads to restock the shelves.
Exactly.
And that's the only way that you
You can
can
produce.
that's the only way that you can produce and kind of overcome lack of production.
Hmm.
If you will, you can't just rely on the expired products because you can't sell them. You can't
Right.
sell them. You have to buy the new stuff with the
Exactly.
fresh, with the fresh date that's not expired. And you have to do that every week. So leads expire every week.
Hmm.
And so you have to refresh them, or else you're not going to be able to sell anything. People aren't going to buy expired product. So you have to buy new leads. And now that's not to say that you can't still use the old leads, but you're not
Exactly.
going to use them in place of new leads.
For
So
sure.
they're fillers essentially. So you buy new leads and you set 20 appointments. Now you need 10 more. Well, you can go through your old stuff still and stack that in. That can be, the
Exactly.
last pile that you go through, and use that as a place filler. Those can be your door knocks for in between the appointments. You just called off the new leads where you have a gap, or maybe you don't have enough appointments that day. Then the older stuff that you had before, you can utilize it. You can resolve every lead that way.
For sure.
But you can never get to the point where you just stop buying leads, because it won't work.
Yeah, no,
That's how
that's not how you can run your business.
right.
Now you can always fall back, as in, what I like to do is, of course, I'm always gonna buy lead, always,
Mhm.
twice a week, maybe 3 times. Now, whenever I'm done with my leads, if I'm done calling all of my leads by, I don't know, 1 p.m. or noon, however, I'm gonna call the ones I bought a month ago, 2 months ago.
Mhm.
Why? Because either I always leave notes as call them back, has a voicemail, straight to voicemail. I keep calling until I get a no, until I get, get me off this list or whatever.
Yeah.
I always make sure I guess you can say, I don't know, just pretty much finish off the lead,
Yeah. Got to resolve them.
Yeah,
Gotta
resolve them,
them.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, yeah, you said you mentioned you and Amanda are obviously a couple, and you both
sure.
are doing well right now. And you're building an agency as well.
Exactly.
You're not just focused on producing.
No. So that's what comes a little bit more now. If you want to produce a team, you gotta produce yourself. You can't, if I guess you were my upline, if I was making more money than you, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You gotta be a leader, not a boss.
Yeah. Got to be a leader, not a boss, right?
Exactly.
You lead from the front. So you can't give advice that you can't do yourself, because no one's going to respect that.
For sure.
No one's going to respect that. Somebody wants to write, 15 grand a week, and you're only doing 4,000 or 5,000. Not you personally, I'm just saying in general.
For sure.
Then that's hard to, you can't coach someone that wants to make 10 to 15. Right.
Sure.
And that goes with building as well. You can't teach someone how to build an agency if you're not building one yourself either. So yeah, just to kind of recap. So you came in here about 3 months ago, started figuring it out, about 2 months ago. Took a month to really get in there.
Figured out how everything works.
Figured out how everything works.
Exactly.
And then you really bought into it. You're very committed to your schedule. Monday, Thursday, dial days. And then you pulled back a little bit. You got complacent. Results stopped coming in the way that they had been. And then you got through crossroads, where you could either quit or you could get your mind right and you could actually start making something of yourself again.
Exactly.
And that's what you chose to do. And now you're in here Monday at 8 a.m. You're in here Thursday, 8 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. And you're not leaving until you have that schedule stacked. Exactly. Right. So that and you're just not doing it. That's not even a possibility. You're not in here from 8 to 8. You're in here from 8 until I fill my schedule.
Exactly.
Right. And there's no shortcuts. There's no other way around that. No. It is what it is. So, yeah, I guess we'll leave it at that, man. I really appreciate you doing this call. I hope that everybody got something out of it. You are, it's been really, really cool to see the growth that I've witnessed from you and from you got here to right now, and just to have been a part of it. I really appreciate it, and you got to keep it up, man. Got to keep it up. Can't let off now. All right.
Never that.
So for that, I'll sign off to Steve. Steve, I'm sure he's got a bunch of stuff that he wants to get out there too.
Great job, guys.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Very inspirational. Yeah, just open it up for some quick questions. I don't want to take too much time. We want to get everybody back on the phones. Anybody have anything pressing that we can assist anyone with? Oh, questions. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'd leave it with this. It is the middle of the month, and we are tracking a good track here. I would say double down on your leads. As we go into September, October, November, those are some of the biggest months in insurance. September, I've always had monster months. People get back to normal, get back to school, and you can really, really do some damage and set yourself up to max out the end of the year. So I'd leave it at that. If we have no questions, you guys killed it.
All right, perfect. I'll leave it with one quote that I love. We all came here with a dream, right? And we're all here for a reason. What I would say is you have to sacrifice for your dream, or your dream will become your sacrifice. And there's no way around that. So if you want to achieve that dream, you have to sacrifice for it. And you owe it to yourself. If you have a family, you owe it to your family. Make something of yourself. This is very doable. There's too many people doing it to point at a system or something and say it doesn't work. It works. Buy into it, do it, sacrifice, and achieve. And I'll leave it with that.
Love it, man. Appreciate you guys.
All right.
Take care.